Good YouTubing, everybody. Thanks for stopping by and checking out this review. And as always, we'd like to thank our viewers and our subscribers, because without you, we're not us. So let's talk about Hal Jordan, Armored Suit, Green Lantern, Superman, The Return of Superman by DC Multiverse. This is by MCFARLANE Toys and it's available now. So check it out. Guys, let me know something in the comments. Will you be purchasing this figure or not? Let us know. But right now, let's roll them off the stand and let's get started. And for the packaging, we've seen this many times before. This is nothing new to us by MCFARLANE, but if you haven't, let's go over it. Let's take a look at the top. As you see the 22 moving parts of articulation and also the MCFARLANE logo on the right. And if you look at the cutout, looking down at the figure, there's your open window. So let's look at the face of the packaging. You see the two corners, one black, the ages, and you see the action figure and all the accessories with the trading card and the action figure base behind the bubble. And if you look on the bottom, you see the DC Multiverse Hal Jordan armor suit, right? And let's check out the side panels. First, we'll look at the side panel with the window. As you can see, the DC Multiverse Hal Jordan armor suit right there on the side by the window. And on the other side panel, you'll have DC Multiverse, Superman, The Return of Superman, and you see Hal Jordan in the armored suit there, right? Okay, so the packaging itself, pretty bland, pretty basic. And if you flip it over to the back side, you're gonna see this artwork, which is the trading card. You see the Hal Jordan armored suit, Superman, The Return of Superman, and if I'm not mistaken, the cartoon picture on there, the comic, is from, I think it's from 1993. That's what I'm guessing. But that will do it for the outside of the packaging. For the inside of the packaging, this is nothing new to us, but if it is, this is what we have. You see the trading card at the top and the action figure base in plastic. For me, I keep both in plastic because I have no use for the MCFARLANE stand personally. And I keep the card in the plastic just to keep it in mint condition. If I want to read the bio, I just go online and check it out there. And that will do it for the inside of the packaging. Okay, so let's go ahead and scale them up. You see them there with Darkseid. Of course, Darkseid's a mega figure. That's good. You see how the concept of that looks. And what's on Superman here? Yeah, just to give you an idea as well. So you see they look pretty decent together. Of course, that's what we're looking at. And you know, for me, I know that mega figures, they tend to be fitting quite well with 1/12 scales, as you see, but sometimes they're off, but they don't do a bad job. I think you can use all of them on the MCFARLANE line, the DC, and it wouldn't do too bad, as you can see here with maybe Darkseid, or you could do it with Steppenwolf, things like that. But as you see it here, it looks pretty decent and you get the idea. Okay, let's go ahead and give them a measure. We'll start with the inches. Right at 7.5. And if you go for the centimeter side, he'll be right under 19 centimeters. That's where he's at, and that's where he's standing. Okay, so let's take a look at the appearance. Let's go ahead and take out the obvious. Of course, if you're looking at this figure, I'm fixing to throw up the Man of Steel with steel, and look at him. This is the same buck, the exact same figure. All they did was add an extra head and paint it, right? This is the exact same figure. Every part of it is, except for the head itself. That's where I'm throwing this picture up as well. Now I'm going to throw up the comic picture. You can see him there, and he's actually holding the hammer, which is pretty awesome. This is because at the time of this era, I think it was 1993, they were fighting. He was fighting Mongol, and he was getting beat up. I mean, Green Lantern was getting his butt kicked. So he put on the suit, the power suit, and he also used Steel's hammer at the moment. So he borrowed it. And that's when he was fighting Mongol with it or not. I don't know if he beat him or not, but I know he used a hammer and he did some damage with that. So he borrowed Steel's hammer and he made the armored suit just like Steel wears. And actually, you know, Steel's a good friend of Superman. the same Return of Superman suit with that metal suit and the bald head look. That's him. He borrowed his hammer for the time being in this comic. So being that this is the same Buck and you're seeing the same figure, this is actually correct. So it needed to be this. So luckily, using the same Buck and the same figure itself was noted, because that's the same suit that he wore when he created the green power suit to fight Mongul, right? And using the hammer as well. Okay, so let's take a look at them up close. All right, so you saw the pictures. Let me put it like this here so we can, you see the picture, you know it's the same. We really don't got to go over that. That's what it is, the same, okay? Let's take a look at the head. All right, you see the head there going across the screen. It looks pretty decent. Not bad. You're having that green suit helmet with minor detail like we see in the other figure, right? There you got stuff there. You have details on the side there. And of course, the mask itself. We have to have the iconic green mask that is painted on. And then you see the white eyes, right? Okay, facial structures inside the helmet, sculpted and painted. Flesh color, lips, nose, they're all there, right? Okay, so we see that. That is the only part that's different on the figure besides the paint of the old figure of steel. Okay, let's take a look at the shoulder pads. You see the shoulder pads there? Pretty basic. They are PVC. There you go. And let's look at the emblem on the chest. Right? You're getting this more darker green, rugged look. And you see the white painted in the background of the logo. Okay, let's take a look at the center of the figure here where the abs are and the tool belt, utility belt. Okay, pretty basic. We're looking at one color, all greens, so nothing wild there. And here are the legs, right? And then you go down to the boots. You have that armored look. And these silly shoes. These are really silly. They made the first one like that, but I guess they had to mimic it. But those are terrible and very bad for balancing. Don't do well. Okay? And for the hands, you see the hands there. They do have the open hand and the slightly open hand to hold the hammer and have the hammer kind of balanced in the other hand, right? There you go. Here they are. Basic. Right? Very basic. And that's it on that, okay? So let's take a look at the back. Nothing wild there. You have two sets of greens, a little bit of armor, and that's it. Nothing major. Nothing major at all. And that'll do it for the appearance. So let's take a look at the accessories. I mean, you really don't have any accessories. I don't call just the one hammer an accessories, being that this is much needed, but could you get us an extra pair of hands? Maybe a green effect, some of his power effects with the ring effect, some of that stuff that McFarlane has everywhere. Those translucent plastic, he could have gave us a couple of those. That would have been nice. Since you're going out with a bang, let's do it the right way. But the hammer itself, can't complain. It looks good. You see it there. Not bad. I mean, it's just one color of gray. No really much detail to the hammer part, but it does have a little detail to the handle, but it's pretty basic. Let's take a look at it. There you go. There's your hammer, right? Detail there. You see it. Nothing too wild. Very basic. You could probably add some touches to yourself and make this silver like it's supposed to, not this kind of gray color. You need this to be silver. That'd be nice, right? The handle, everything looks pretty decent on it. Like I said, it's not that great, but it will do, right? Just paint it real silver, throw a little metallic on it, and you have it made the right way, okay? There you have it. And that'll do it for the accessories. Okay, so let's check out the articulation, the POA. The articulation is good in some spots, I think. When I'm looking at the figure and I'm feeling it's very bulky, just like the last figure with steel, it's okay, right? So we'll start with the head first. The head is on ball and socket, so movements are great. Your tilts are there, rotations are there. There's no issue with that, right? You can look up, down, of course. Like, look at that tilt in there. Did I drop that? Yeah, so everything's working fine there. Ball and socket, not a latch system, just a ball and socket. So we're good there, right? The shoulders are PVC plastic, so that's going to be great for rotations in the arms when you do have the ball and socket system and the latch that goes inside. So that works out well when you're raising the arms up. You don't have the plastic in the way, being ABS. That would not work too well, right? Okay, you notice the cut. So you do have your bicep swivel there. There it is, right? It's there, okay? You do have double jointed arms. Push them in, and there you have it. You can see the pins there. Very ugly, but they're there, right? Of course, very little on the accessories, so the hands are not interchangeable, but they do rotate. And they have their own latch system, as you can see there, the pin and the latch system there, right? Okay, and that's the same on both sides, right? And if you go to the middle of the figure here by the emblem, by the abs, you do have rotations there. And you also have rotations above the utility belt, right? Okay, so that works well. Okay, so the legs themselves, no thigh swivels, of course. You do have double jointed knees. There you are. And what I don't like about this figure is the feet. You do have the latch system there, right? So that's nice. Nothing wrong with having the latch system in the feet and also having them sit on this kind of minor rocker, if any. Okay, that's fine. And then you do have the pivot in the toe. But what I have to point out, why the figure balances so terribly, it is terrible trying to balance it, because what they did was they made this part come higher than the bottom of the foot. So when you're sitting this down, it's off. It just doesn't stand right. The toe pops up. This wants to lean back. You pop the toe back down. It just doesn't do right. It's always standing at a funny angle. So that's a terrible job there. Should have learned on that one from the first one with steel, but they did not, of course. Okay, and there you have it for the articulation. I wish I had some accessories. McFarlane. Okay, for my pros and cons. My cons are, it doesn't have enough accessories. Yes, we have the hammer, but the hammer is painted so dull, it doesn't even look cool. Give me a pair of extra hands, that'd be nice. Give me some of those green effects on him. You have so many of those in your arsenal. You can get some of those translucent plastics and give us some of that. You can wrap around his hands. You have some coming out. That would have been great. Maybe an extra head sculpt would be great. And plus the standing. His feet are terrible. That mechanics that you have, I know he's got the armored suit that is terrible and it doesn't work and it doesn't need to be done again. That's my cons. My pros are, I do like the coloring. I like the fact that, yes, he had to mimic Steel's armor. So the buck using the rebuck, using the retool, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. So it looks good. Figure looks good. And the accessories that he does have, the hammer, it does look good. Just the coloring's a little off. But for me, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this figure a 3 out of 5 stars. Guys, let me know what your stars are. And you guessed it. You can get it at BigBadToyStore.com. Just check out BigBadToyStore.com. So what are you waiting for? Check them out. And this brings us to the end of our video. If you found the video informational or you just simply enjoyed watching, please hit the like, comment, share, and subscribe button. And as always, this has been another toy review. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.